Wow. Comfort and I would like to say a very big thank you to you all for coming today and honoring us with your presence in this 13th edition of the Springboard 2019 Roadshow and the Global Convocation. We'd like to thank the several thousands watching across the world, and we project that number to rise to over 1 million. We want to thank our sponsors for supporting this intervention. What we do without your financial investment. Let's thank MTN, 12 years continuously sponsoring this event. Let's celebrate Salom and MTN. Let's thank UMB for bringing out those talents that would otherwise have been hidden in different parts of this country. Let's thank UMB. Let's thank DataBank for supporting us from the very first edition in 2007 and being with us all the way through. Thank DataBank with a clap, please. Let's say a big thank you to Enterprise Life Assurance for coming on board, to PESOL, and then also to all our other sponsors for making it to this event. I would like to, before I speak, celebrate my boss. Why is that so important? Because Selim spoke about the fact that people are put in your life to add value to your life. And today, Comfort and I stand here grateful to two very special people who have believed in us over the years and who have consistently urged us to rise higher, move faster, and push further. So I stand here with gratitude in my heart to celebrate Dr. and Mrs. Utable. Let's appreciate them. Springboard, let's give them the kind of applause that only the global convocation can give. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, madam. Thank you for your consistency of commitment, and thank you for your guidance over the years. God bless you so much. I celebrate you, and I truly, truly appreciate you. You can guess that Doc has begun talking about how next year should look like already. All right, I'm speaking very briefly on a topic I choose to call extreme makeover. Extreme makeover. It's from chapter 8 of the book Snakes and Ladders. This book is one of the books that has challenged me very much myself. We wrote it and finished it about 2 years ago and kept it for today. So Extreme Makeover is a TV show in which an individual is totally transformed in their outlook, and they show you the before and the after. There's also the home edition where a house that may look run down is totally transformed, and when you see the before and the after, you can't believe that it is the same house that was refurbished or redone. So extreme makeover is simply the process of transforming something so that fundamentally it bears very little resemblance to the original appearance. Let me ask you a question. How many would like to be transformed over the next 5 years and over the next 10 years to look significantly different from the version 1.0 today? If you are here and you have a vision or you have a feeling or belief that 5 years from now or 10 years from now, you will look significantly and fundamentally different in a positive way, put your hands together and give a big shout. So the theme for this year is the digital revolution, and Kofi has done extremely well in articulating digitization and the picture of the future of technology. But I just want to say that digital technologies and new ways of doing things are forcing a significant shift in profitability from one business model to another. The new model, whether it's in business, in not-for-profit, or even as individuals, disrupts the existing one by reaching more people, reaching them faster, giving better value, and more convenience at a lower cost. And so imagine that one day in a Springboard event at Bolga, we hosted a man who had traveled 7 hours. At the time when the Tumu Road was not done, he had traveled 7 hours from Wa to Bolga to attend the event. He came tired, dusty, but determined to participate. Today, by the power of digital technology, that man does not have to travel. He can sit in the comfort of his couch his home, his car, anywhere, and participate in Springboard from beginning to end, win awards, and have the time of his life by the power of technology. What this does is twofold. It creates disruption and creates opportunity. So in the World Bank Developmental Report on digital dividends released in 2016, it said two things. The first, for highly skilled workers, technology in most cases will complement their skills, increase their productivity, and lead to more money, higher wages. But for people whose jobs are low level, low skill, if they will benefit from digitization, it will depend on the extent to which technology either complements or substitutes your job function. Now, this is a summary of the question that Kofi asked in his presentation: are machines taking over our jobs? The net effect of these two statements from the World Bank report is as follows. Combining that with the World Economic Forum report, it means that for every one job that is lost, 3 new ones are created. So instead of panicking because your job might be lost, focus on the 3 new areas that are opening and how you can be relevant in that space. The jobs at the highest risk are those that are repetitive, mundane, and easily replicable by machine learning. That means that if your job is simply take this, put it here, move this, add it here, very little analysis, very little value added, a machine can do what you do very easily. The individuals at the highest risk are those who add very little value to themselves beyond their required job functions. Now, by the time you finish hearing this summary, it almost sounds like an obituary. Interestingly, Salom, in Kumasi, when Comfort finished giving a list of areas in which jobs are being lost and areas in which the jobs will continue to grow stronger, the question time, the most dominant question that kept coming, if I am now going to university and I'm planning to do a course that is supposed to be in a shrinking area, do I still do it? Very genuine question. But the answer to that question will be found in the summary I'm going to give you in the next few minutes. My conclusion from these reports, the Deloitte report on the future of jobs, the World Economic Forum report on 2020 and beyond, and this World Bank Developmental report, my summary is simple. Change yourself or die. It sounds very difficult coming from a pastor. So let me say, reinvent yourself or become dysfunctional. That sounds a bit more politically correct than change yourself or die. Tell somebody, reinvent yourself. Tell the person you need an extreme makeover. So when you see a gap between where you are and where you want to be, when you listen to CEOs talk about what kind of person they would like to work with, when you hear banks talk about what kind of person they would like to lend money to or give credit to, when you hear venture capitalists talk about what kind of person they would like to invest in, you can sum all this up in certain attributes that are generic that anyone can inculcate. The interesting thing about these attributes is that individually they don't sound very exceptional. They are very simple things. But like the rungs of a ladder, no single step can take you all the way to the top. It is an accumulation of these steps that makes that dream a reality. So I'm going to just sum this up in 21 simple steps and remind us that while they just may be words, the power lies in accumulating or aggregating all these little concepts in your work. And once you do that, no matter what course you are doing and no matter where you begin from, you will find opportunities in life, like Salom rightly indicated. So great things are done by a series of small things brought together. And that was said by Van Gogh. So the first one is routine. In watching accomplished people over the years, I find that the most accomplished people are people of routine, people who follow a routine. And I would respectfully refer to my boss without his permission and say that learning and watching him, I realized that he's a man of deep routine. He follows those routines constantly and consistently. And that is the answer to the question, how do you manage to do so many things at a time and accomplish so much in 1 year? Tell somebody routine. Murdock says the secret of your future is hidden in your daily routine. I was chatting with my friend, Nuyama Eshen Famie, general manager of Healthy Life, and he said Healthy Life is actually owned by Kofi Nsiah-Poku, and gave him permission to use this illustration. And he says there is a report he submits to Kofi Nsiah every Monday at 10. And one weekend they had gone for a funeral in the upper west region, and they were driving back. He was driving, and Mr. Nsiah-Poku was staying in the car. And when he got to 10 o'clock, he turned to him and said, "Where is the report?" He thought the man would understand that he was driving a car, they were together, they had been at the funeral all weekend. The way he was wired, at 10 o'clock on Monday, guess what? The report must come. Funeral or no funeral. Travel or no travel. Tell somebody the report must come. Lesson number 1 is routine. Lesson number 2 is punctuality. Selim asked me how the hall could be so packed with 15 minutes to go at 11:45 for a 12 o'clock program. Selim, the truth is that from the very first event in 2007, Springboard has never started 1 minute late before. Opening prayer is always 5 minutes to time, a simple signal to attendees that the first lesson in greatness is punctuality. King Louis says punctuality is the politeness of kings. And you will find that most successful programs, there was one day when our church service live streaming, and technology comes, the streaming sometimes is a minute after the event. And there was one particular day when somebody called and said, "Is service not coming on?" Because he was so used to the thing starting on time that to him, a minute late, it was like we were late. But really, it was actually the streaming that was delaying. But it just tells you that when people expect punctuality of you, they work with that, and it helps you to achieve your goals very easily. The third one is relational skills. I was working in Tamale Market with Kafui Day. We were going to a radio interview. I was focused on the interview and the fact that we were late. And people were saying hello to us in the market, typical marketplace. People were recognizing us in the market and trying to say hello. And Kafui will stop and say, "Hello, how are you? What's your name?" And I said, "Kafui, well, you're late for for the interview." We managed to get there and do the interview. But after that, it struck me that here was somebody who had a very deliberate psychology that person in the market who wants to say hello to you, that person on the street who wants to say hello, matters so much. And I say very often that Kafui triggered a new sense of appreciation of relationship in me with that act in the Tamale Market. Since then, I take my time to find out the names of the security folks working for and with me, the gardeners, their family, their children, and I find that it's very nice. It helps. It builds bridges. And John Maxwell says relational skills are the most important attributes in leadership. When you find yourself working in a firm or in an environment, relational skills are important. Then politeness. Treating people with respect and with deference. And Lady Joy, I learned that from you big time. Everybody matters. And over and over and over again, I see my boss design something for somebody that you will say doesn't matter so much. But the effort, the thoughtfulness, the deliberateness, and the application reminds me of the fact that no matter what you are doing for somebody, the person may not have money, the person may not be very significant, but do it with deference to the person. Thank you, Lady Joy, for that lesson. The next one is social graces. Learning to open doors. Learning to help people. Learning even how to eat at table. We did an interview for a mining company that was looking for top executives. The first interview was in the boardroom of the company. The second interview was in a hotel on the N1. And that interview was just to see how they use cutlery and how they eat at table. Now, if you didn't know that was the reason and you thought it was just to celebrate, this guy came and ate all the food. And the way he handled cutlery was very scary. Of course, you didn't get the job. His class didn't matter, his experience didn't matter. For the kind of job he was going to do, he was required to be meeting top executives from the various countries, and so he didn't get the job. The next one is a pleasant personality. Turn to somebody and smile at the person. A smile is very, very inexpensive, but it helps a lot. Somebody says, what has all this got to do with the digital revolution? Trust me, the debate going on at the corporate level today, the debate going on in most companies, if we have to cut down our staff from 30 to 3, who will we choose? These are the things they look out for. So write them down. From chapter 8 of Snakes and Ladders. A gentle word, a kind look, a good-natured smile can work wonders and accomplish miracles. I read somewhere that if you were going to see a dentist and you got to the hospital and there were 3 doors, dentist 1, dentist 2, dentist 3, and each of them was standing in front of the door, and one was smiling and the remaining 2 were looking at you like this. Which one will you go to? The one smiling, he may not even be the most competent, but your mind is made up that you are welcome here and they will treat you well. The smile helps. 7 is honesty. If you cannot put your hand on your chest and say, I have not stolen a pesewa from my employer. If you can't put your hand on your chest like Selon said, and said, I walked away from $150,000 bonus because my personal ethics didn't align with that. You will rise only to some point and get stuck. But Salom, I celebrate you for that example. Springboard is about values, it's about ethics, it's about honesty, and it's about integrity. And John Huntsman in his book, Winners Never Cheat, says there are no moral shortcuts in the game of life or the game of business. There are basically 3 kinds of people: the unsuccessful, the temporarily successful, and those who become and remain successful. Number 8 is trust. I call it reputational equity. So I went for this Africa Leadership Initiative meeting, the first meeting, Kobe. And then they said, close your eyes and fall. I said, what? From the part of the world where I come from, you don't just fall like that. They said, close your eyes and actually fold your arms, and your friends will, and we're standing at Volta Hotel on the top of some height. They said, just fall. It was very difficult, especially if you fear heights like me. But you know, what that was communicating is that when people build assured reliance on your character, your ability, your strength, or your truth, even if it is 1 minute to go, they will tell themselves, you will come. Isn't it a fact that for some people, when you work with them, you know for sure that they will deliver? And yet for others, even when they assure you, you are still scared because of past experience. It has been proven that when people trust you, they lend you money without requiring documents because they know you will pay. So relational equity plus reputational equity leads to financial equity. Number 9 is gratitude, learning to say thank you. I heard a story about a pastor who went to preach in a village, in an island, and he preached a great sermon. It was a mission. When he finished, it was a leper colony. When he finished, he asked, just to close the service, if somebody had a contribution to make in terms of a song they could sing to close. And there was this woman who had turned her back throughout the service, facing the corner. And so when he said, does anyone have a song we can sing? She turned around, her fingers were gone with leprosy, her toes were gone, her facial features were all gone. And she said, can we sing Count Your Blessings? The pastor cried. Here you are complaining about your rent you haven't paid and things that you think you want in life that you're not getting. And here was somebody with nothing talking about count your blessings. If you know that you are blessed, today. Put your hands together. The 10th lesson is self-discipline. It is holding yourself responsible to the highest standards and telling yourself without any supervisor, you will do what is required. The 11th is passion. It is impossible to change the world or make a significant dent without fire in your belly. There will come a time when there will be nobody to encourage you. Everybody may be doing the wrong thing, but the passion that you have must drive you. Number 12 is persistence. Some of the most accomplished people or the most accomplished stories you will hear about were instances where everyone said, no, it can't be done. But if you want to push and achieve great things, you must tell yourself, if there is a wall in front of me, there may be a chance under the wall, over the wall, or through the wall. But by all means, there is a way. Persistence tells yourself it can be done. The 13th is feedback. There will be times when you think you've done so well. You are so sure you have a best solution. And yet somebody more accomplished in 1 minute can take your concept and your thought completely apart. How do you respond? Do you say thank you and write notes and go and work harder and bring it back? Or do you say under your breath, that's how they are. They sit down and they criticize our work. If you allow more accomplished people to guide you, you will achieve far more. Turn to the next person and tell them, please give me feedback. Feedback is the cheapest and yet the most powerful and underused management gift. 14 is dress sense. Dress sense. A friend of mine told me a story I will never forget about being invited when she finished university in New York, being invited to the home of a CEO she had met that day. She was so excited. She said they went there. It was an evening function at home. So they assumed it was a party. So they went there, herself and a friend of hers, in her own words, in her miniskirt and a friend in torn jeans. They arrived at the gate. And here was this butler with his tailcoat, bowler hat, and a stick, saying, you ain't going in. And she showed him the woman's call card and said, she invited us. And he said, you don't understand. He opened the door, and here were the Bentleys, the BMs, Chrysler. This was a black tie event of top CEOs. So the CEO was looking for an opportunity to showcase 2 young talents just in case someone wanted to employ them. And here they were with their torn jeans at that function. You can't climb the ladder of success dressed in the costume of failure. There's nothing wrong with torn jeans, but there's a place for that, and there's also a place for formal dressing. So find out the kind of function and dress appropriately. 15, optimism. Nothing can be done without hope and confidence. And if you have 2 employees, and the first one is always seeing things negatively, and the second one is always saying, we can do it, and going out there and doing it, which one will get the chance? Obviously, the optimist. 16 is agility, or what you may want to call flexibility. I was looking at the list of 10 attributes that the World Economic Forum says you will by all means need from 2020 and beyond. And number 10 on that list was cognitive flexibility. And there's an executive in this room from one of our partners, and we had an interview on Joy FM. Just before the interview, her CEO called her for an extensive working meeting. So she finished that meeting 10 minutes to the interview. We were calling her, she wasn't picking. Just before we went into the studios, she appeared. And we asked, how did you come? And she said, on motorbike. She left the meeting in the corporate boardroom, and the very next minute jumped onto the back of a motorbike and came to Joy FM. You see, one day, a group of interns came to our office in June the 3rd. It was June the 4th, actually, the day after the June 3rd floods. And they were told when they come, they should report to the executive pastor. They came and met me wearing Wellington boots and scrubbing the compound because the floods had muddied our whole compound. And when they were told, there he is, they said no. In their mind, The executive pastor should be wearing a tie and sitting in some nice chair. But you see, the ability to switch from one role to another is what endears the most preferred appointees to your boss. Agility, adaptability, and speed of implementation. 17 is problem solving. In that list in the World Economic Forum, number 1 on the list was complex problem solving. The most rewarded people in business are the people who solve complex problems. They identify the problem, they explore all the options, they set goals, they analyze the alternatives, they select the solution, they implement the solution, and then they evaluate, review, and continuously improve. If you solve problems in life, you by all means make money. Number 18, reading widely. It is amazing that people who want to be great do not read. But you have to read. Read widely. Embrace different strands of thought. Mark Twain says the man who does not read has no advantage over the man who cannot read. Tell somebody read. In the picture, you see somebody who has read and highlighted and written comments. That's how to read. Number 19 is discretion. As you rise up the ladder, you will be in meetings and you will be in places and you will hear and interface with things, and you must know when to speak and when not to speak, what to say and what not to say. It is so important. And it's one skill that is very critical. Not every picture is for social media. Not every conversation with your mentor is supposed to be reproduced on social media. The ability to know what is for public consumption and what are those priceless personal moments is a very critical indicator of whether the doors of access will remain open or they will shut to you. Because in those inspirational moments, sometimes your mentor will say to you something that they have never told anyone before. Imagine 5 minutes later on Twitter, you post it there. May the Lord forgive you. Not everything needs to be digitally documented. Number 20 is resourcefulness. If you are able with little to always find quick and innovative ways to overcome difficulties and generate results, people will like you and they'll give you opportunity. So, create value with very little and work hard to preserve the gains. And then finally, order. Without order in your life, no one will take you serious. Without order, sequential arrangement of things, no one will listen to any business pitch you make, any career pitch you make. Order and simplification are the first steps towards the mastery of any subject. I've given you 21 simple steps, none of them spectacular, but many of which are a very integral part of the way we think, Comfort and I, and what we are trying to aspire to. Before I wrap up, let me find out if you remembered any of them. What was number 1? Pardon me? Routine. Number 2? I didn't hear that. Punctuality. Number 3? Relational skills. Number 4? Politeness. Number 5? Social grace is opening the door, saying hello. Number 6? Number 6? Pleasant personality. Number 7? Honesty. Number 8? Trust. Reputational equity. Number 9? So which one is your favorite? Number 10? Self-discipline. Number 11? Passion. 12? Persistence. 13? Feedback. 14? Dress sense. 15? Optimism. 16? Agility. 17? Complex problem solving. 18? Reading widely. 19? Discretion. And 20? Resourcefulness. And the 21st? Order. Which one is your favorite? I can't hear you. Order. Which one? Whichever is your favorite, I would like to leave you with one thought. Little by little, each of these 21 steps will get you very far in life. And you can find them in chapter 8 of this book, Snakes and Ladders. Let me end with the 8 steps on the ladder of accomplishment. Anytime you hear something new, because you can do almost anything you are willing to clarify your commitments, if you are willing to clarify your commitments and make incremental investments over time. So you say, I have one, but I don't have the other. Anytime you hear something new, the first step is, I won't do it. Then you say, I can't do it. Punctuality is a struggle. Then you say, I want to do it. Then you say, how do I do it? Then you say, I will try to do it. Then you write a New Year resolution, I'll try. Then you go to, I can do it. Number 7 is, I will do it. Next year, when I meet you at Springboard, the answer must be number 8. I did it. I would like to once again recommend that you get a copy of the book Snakes and Ladders, and we'll autograph as many as we can during the break. But for everyone here, we believe in you, believe in your abilities, believe in your gifts. Somebody in here will chart a new course for the future of this country. Somebody in here will allow the gift God has given you to affect this continent. Somebody in here will do something that will be written about in Time magazine, in CNN, in BBC. It will be the front page story in the Independent and the Daily Mirror in the UK. Somebody in here will put Ghana on the world map for positive reasons. Somebody in here will live out your dream, and all the glory will go to God. We want to say a big thank you once again, and God bless you.